a slow reader. That's not true. I'm actually far better than them. You want to actually see that? Let me actually bring some of the books that I've never sold before. Well, I've never tested these books. Let me actually bring multiple one, so I would never be under suspicion of cheating. You know, let me show you. I would never be beaten by those students. I can take the test now. It's really easy to prove that. Well, I really don't think I would be easily beaten by them. Let me show you. It's really easy. Now, I'm checking out 보면 되죠? It's really fucking easy to me either. Any random one, available one. We haven't actually sold these. 이거 4개 안 했어. 1, 2, 3, 4. 이거 해볼게. Despite its obviously common plan to increase employment, found many blank and mostly better untalented and not simple. Proponents, right? And in higher and blank of David Foster Wallace, the novel is appearing in the portfolio as a guide supplement to his. Pain City. The novel is a blank to possible readers expecting the straightforward terse prose that characterizes the previous. Meandering. Just one, right? The professional athlete can become financially blank after signing lucrative contract motivated leagues and commissions to institute to financial planning core. Reckless. I'm done. Let me check the answer. 야, 내가 느리니 프레드. 근데 이건 다음에 놔둘게요. 정답 모르게 하고. 왜냐면 내가 지금 억울해서 그런데. 내가 맨날 모른대. 3번에 C, 4번에 A, 5번에 B, 6번에 C. 난 절대 tonality 나쁘지 않아요. 정답 아예 몰랐어요. You know what? Is there any type of a tonal issue? You know, can you honestly solve these questions? If you really actually do not really know this tonal differences, you will never fill out the right answer. There's no chance. You have to read the subtle differences between lines. Of course, there are easy choices. You actually expect them to be very, very intermediary or easy, cheesy, peasy pie questions. But that does not mean I would be a tonal deaf. You know, yesterday I have actually proven that I had no difficulty at all. I never actually saw the answer sheet because there are watchers out there. I do not actually think that somebody is really watching me. They wouldn't be negligent in terms of performing their duty. If I ever actually had done something suspicious, they would have definitely shared that information. And I never pre-studied these materials ahead of time. It's a really ridiculous argument. 억울해요. 내가 미국 애들분들에게 Have I ever solved these questions slower than other Americans? No, I don't think so. 진짜 쉬워요. 그리고 tonal difference 모르는 게 말이 안 돼요. 어제 내가 그런 거 어디서 했더라? 나 어디서 한지 모르겠는데. 어제 진짜 좋은 거 풀었는데. 여기 있었나? You know, I even actually solved this kind of questions. It's really ridiculous. I'm not really actually making a loud noise. That's a ridiculous argument. Those people who actually criticize me for not understanding the tonal difference, they can never actually fill out this. You know what? Someone like, can you honestly do this then? If you know what? If you ever actually solve this really quickly, just like me, then do tell me. Those people who challenge my tonal deafness. Can you do that? So these are really easy questions for sure. 그러면은 이거 나 정답 이거 못 봤으니까 한번 이거 해보기 2개씩 넣는 거. 너 죽었다. Circuits and rest of the weather playing so wildly that you can feel as though you're experiencing winter and summer. As it fluctuates so wildly, we claim that all life on Earth originating from Mars is apart from blank. The gaps are in the evidence. It must be addressed before scientific community can begin to. The theories. Apart from substantiated. entertain 해야 되나? entertain the theories. 아 이거 조금 coalesce 일단 말이 안 돼. entertain the theories. entertain the theories of plausibility. In a convict case axiom, Stillwater's once defines a blank. His apparent facade of blank should not imply a lack of remorse. In the convict's case axiom, that still runs what defines a credence. His apparent facade should imply a lack of confusing. Stoicism should be there. None of them are really credence. 왜냐면은 진짜 억울하잖아요. 나한테 자꾸 뭐 정답 봤다 그러고. 오늘은 이거까지만 하고 이거 이 책 그만할게. 정답이 보일 수도 있으니까. 그렇지만 내가 어제도 뭐지? 이거 봐봐. 너무나 이거 잘했는데 이거만 하고 오늘 이 책 그만해야 돼. 이러면 정답이 보일 수도 있잖아. EAEAF. 하하 정답이 정답. EAE. 야 누구? I know what. I don't really want to actually name those people. But if you really actually wants to challenge my tonality, can you honestly solve this question? 너 진짜 이거 풀 수 있어? Can you honestly actually pick up the right answer? Because if you don't actually read or feel the sentiment, begin to entertain. I swear to Laura, I was not at all pre-informed of the conditions ahead of time. I never dragged my feet. And it was completely motivated by this implication. I know. When I was actually walking down the street, there were two different guys. There was one guy who was actually rushing through the air, riding this e-scooter, fancy one, and there was a little Chinese kid who was someone actually, staggering. Are you actually referring to that person as me being inept, me being less qualified? But you'd better think again. This is a standardized test, and I will take that one. And I had no difficulty at all. This was completely improvised one because I really was inspired by this suggestion. I was very, very enraged. Oh, you're fucking talking to me that I wouldn't be that stupid child writing that. Not really stupid. That he was really cute and nice. But you know what? That connotation was very, very improper. I was like a little kid staggering and fumbling with this e-scooter. Couldn't actually move forward. Then what do you think about it? Just like the rest of American college students, I'm going to equally take this GRE test. I will definitely make sure to fulfill the obligation. Think about it. The claim that all life on Earth originated from Mars is far from blank. There are gaps in the evidence that must be addressed before the scientific community can even begin to blank the theories. Entertain, what does that mean? Before even actually scientific community enjoy or even actually, say, yay, we've been actually so excited to hear that before this, hoopla. There should be further explanation that should be substantiated. Substantiated means that there should be greater evidence that might actually back up the thesis and bolster the case if there is any audacity, that should be substantiated or corroborated with the thesis to bolster and embolden the convincing coherence of it. That's what it is about. And yesterday, what have I actually solved it? 내가 어제 이것도 풀었잖아요. 야, 이거는 뭐 그렇게 어려운 거 아니지만 내가 Into the wilderness 그거 있잖아. 내가 어이가 없다. 너희만 그런 거 아니? 내가 이거였나? 이거였던 것 같아. 어디 갔어? 그리고 자꾸 나한테 답답하지 마세요. 지금 열받아서 집에 오자마자 푼 건데 무슨 답을 보기는 북소 저기 어디 갔다 왔다. 어디 갔다 왔어요. 어제 푼 거 어디 갔어? 그거. 야, 그거 있잖아. 여기였는데 어디 갔니? 너희들은 어디 갔니? 이 책이었는 것 같은데 내가 알기로는. 오늘 이 책 그만해. 왜냐면 답을 봤을 수도 있잖아. 내가 그런 사람들을 진짜 아주 납작하게 해줘야지. 뭐 알지도 못하면 저한테 왜 그러세요? 그냥 헷갈려서 그런 게 아니라 언제까지 풀라고. 그렇다고 그렇게 노력해서 푸는 거 아니에요. 그렇지만 미국에도 그게 초이스가 있는데 그럼 언제까지 풀라고. 뭐가 패턴인지는 이해도 안 돼. 내가 이렇게 지금 빨리 했는데 이걸 나 지금 페인팅하고 있어. 아주 뛰어갔다 와가지고 어디 갔다 왔어. 밥도 못 먹고 지금 어디 갑자기 들어오자마자 이걸 아주 열받아서 자꾸 나한테 이상한 소리 하네. 나 어제 그거 어디 갔냐? 그거 그 문제 만들어. Into the wilderness, into the unknown. 거기 어디 있었는데? 어디 있었는 것 같은데? 못 찾겠네. 어디다 뺐노? 이 책이 아닌가 봐요. 근데 이 책 맞는데. 여기다. 그거 봐라. Rural reasoning. Retreat to nature appealed to David Henry Thoreau for reasons. Henry David Thoreau. Thoreau for reasons other than the solitude that it provided. Thoreau believed that immersion in the untamed put him in touch with unpredictability that, by definition, could not be replicated by the scheming of the 19th century Maine. I did it at once, I even actually uploaded a YouTube video. A retreat to nature. A retreat. Wintry retreat, no. It's making oneself, secluded all around the season, right? A retreat to nature appealed to Thoreau for reasons other than the solitude that it provided. Thoreau believed that blank, the untamed, put him in touch with the blank, by definition, could not be replicated by the scheming of the 19th century Maine. Of course, immersion is the easy part, but you know what? What's that? By definition, could not be replicated by the scheming. Then, there should be unpredictability because, the 19th century scheming, everything has been industrialized. They're having a certain sense of a sequential repetition and redundancy. That's really the pedestrian boredom and tedious, constantly played by this 19th century's era. Right? I'm not lying. I was able to think about this aspect, so I made no mistake, just like the rest of students. Have I actually spent million hours? No. I could immediately imagine that 19th century's tedium would likely to bore such an curious and quizzical mind, full of inquisition. That was really the thought that I had. He actually believed that if he ever plunged himself into the wilderness, the untamed, then he will regain the curiosity of Mother Nature, awakening his sensual organs. Yeah, I really thought that way. Why? 진짜 억울해요. 내가 그럼 이거 하나 더 풀어볼게. 이 책도 모르는데 내가 진짜 풀어볼게. 야, 안 푼 거 없니? 안 푼 거 없니? 여기서 없으면 이제 그만해야 된다. 없다. 그래? Are you sure there is nothing? 있다. 여기 안 있는 것 같아. 했네. 이거 진짜 안 했다. 이거 정말 안 했다. 니 할 수 있어? 이거 4개만 해봐. 이거 먼저 해봐. The framework of American Constitution initially were blank to include a provision explicitly defining civil liberty. They wanted to minimize the role of government. Individual liberty. reluctant이 딱 맞겠네. The famous words of American Declaration of Independence state the doctrine of natural law is applied to the relation between government and government. Behold, it's the truth to be that all men created equal. 두 개 골라요. averse 이런 말이 나와야 되고 succinctly and concisely 이런 말. Blank state the doctrine has applied to relations between. Cogently convincing is different. Although it is true that some jargon is unnecessary, much of it is used legitimately by experts, especially in recondite and abstruse, or technical fields. Recondite and technical. Recondite and technical. Abstrusional, technical. TF. Countries like Singapore, whose economy depend greatly on trade, attempt to blanket advantage every praise and laud. 이건 너무 쉽고 AF. Although it is unnecessary, some of it is recondite, abstruse 아까 recondite. Very complicated. Technical. Diverse and varied views. Especially in diverse fields, that doesn't make sense. My problem is originally recondite and abstruse, they're exactly similar. Not recondite is not technical fields. I'll think about it. Bill Gates said, Kenny, an entrepreneur foresaw a market for software that would make using computers less threatening to Tyro and Neophyte. Huh? But I know I want to actually do a hoi polloi, the public. 그렇죠. 나 public 하고 싶은데. Public. Then can I say hoi polloi as Yahoo? Can I do that? I don't know. It's not matching. The discovery of new or made it blank that more accurate maps had to be devised in order to allow a reliable navigation. Imperative and essential. The quest for absolute zero, the lowest temperature theoretically possible, has to become more for some scientists the search for Holy Grail. Analogous, almost similar, comparable. People who believe technology is largely blank about the human beings in nature are sometimes referred to as a Leonudite. Somebody who never liked technology, anti-tech. Deleterious, harmful, inimical, hostile. deleterious and inimical. 그렇지만 나 이거 모르겠다. 이거를 호이 폴로이를 하고 싶은데. This is really novice를 할까? Novice to the field or hoi polloi the public. Yeah, who has no anti-culture? But we cannot say the hoi polloi is Yahoo. 이거면 나는 큰일 났는데. abstruse fields가 이상하잖아. Don't you guys think that abstruse fields is really crazy? And especially in diverse what? Neophyte, new beginner, tyro. Technocrat is really the opposite. Technocrat is Bill Gates. Somebody who believes that technology can solve all the problems. Elderly doesn't make sense. Hoi polloi, the public. But can we say that Yahoo is a hoi polloi? Yahoo, somebody anti-culture who's been so not tech-savvy people. I'll check the answer because I'm hungry. 이거 좀 어렵네. 좀 어려운데? BE 맞았습니다. BC, 오호. AC, BE, AC. 진짜 맞았지. 봐봐, 프레드링. 거짓말이야. You know what? Look at this. BE, BC, BE, AC. Oh, I got them. I'm not lying. 진짜예요. 그리고 저 배고파 뒤질 것 같아요. AF. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. BF. Oh, no. DE. 이거는 근데 두 개가 맞춰야 되네. 아이씨. 근데 동의어 해야 된다. recondite, abstruse 똑같다 했잖아. recondite 맞는데 technical 했다. abstruse field가 이상해서. 근데 abstruse field 해야 된대. 내가 이거를 synonymous는 이거니까 아는데 I really actually do understand that recondite is almost exactly the same or the recondite abstruse in a synonymous sense. But technical field, a recondite can be both of them. Something very esoteric or something very professionally professionally developed. A recondite can be both meaning. Somebody and something that's esoteric, only known to selected people, or number two, very, very professional knowledge. Professional knowledge. Impervious to novices, like who are not part of it. Now, I thought that abstruse fields sounds a little bit bizarre. I should have actually stick to traditional synonym. 그냥 synonym으로 가야지. I actually had it written down recondite and abstruse is exactly matching, but I found the abstruse fields all sounds a little bit bizarre. AF. 아유, 내가 이거 적어놓고. Technical fields 같은. Recondite can sometimes be technical, something very demanding, exacting, skillful knowledge of a certain field. 그래서 이걸 했더니 이렇게 됐네요. 아직 느리잖아요. 이거는 너무 쉬웠다, 그지? The framers of American Constitution initially were reluctant to include a provision explicitly defining civil liberty because they wanted to minimize the role of government even in defending precious individual liberties. 이거 너무 쉬웠어요, 그래? 근데 내가 잠깐 recondite means something mysterious, or number two, something very, very complicated that would require professional expertise to understand. 그런 뜻이 되거든요. 그래가지고 내가 그렇게 한 건데. 약간 abstruse feels it sounds bizarre. 이건 너무 쉬운 형태다. 너무 그냥으로 가잖아. 그냥 완전 똑같은 말로 가는 게 맞는 것 같아. absurde가 완전 똑같은 단어라고는 생각은 했는데 그거는 미리 먼저 적었거든. 근데 absurd field가 좀 이상해서 차라리 expert, professional, 아주 뭐라나 savvy field, tech savvy field 이런 뉘앙스인데 내가 그렇게 잘한 건 좀 기회를 달라고. 진짜 안 보고 눌러서 많이 틀린 건 진짜 많이 있어요. 그냥 저 트레디셔널 그걸로 가는 게 맞다. 그냥 characteristic of specialization 그것 때문에 field에서는 you know my thought was like that. Recently I was trained to learn that abstruse is recondite, so I had it's exactly the same synonymous words, but given the context because of the technical specialization, I thought that for this time technical would go hand in hand with the professional specialization and focus that could be accentuated by the recondite. That would be only known to specified person or individuals who already studied the subject. I really thought that way. That was a bit mistake, but that's a fine. That was a very traditional questions, I think. 지금 이거 좀 잠깐 해볼게요. 그렇게 많이 까먹지 않아요. 그렇게 다 안 가르쳐줘도 됐는데. 잠깐만. Hold on a second. I'm not crazy. I can prove it. I can take a visual test to prove it. I really don't mind. Okay. No, not limited. 잠깐 뭐 좀 먹고 올게. 여기까지 올리고.